With only 16 or 32GB internal drives, even Linux is likely to run out of space on a Chromebook. Hi, this is Captain from FascinatingCaptain.com, and today I'll install Linux Mint on my Chromebook, show you some features, as well as show you how to boost storage space. In a previous video I went through the process of modifying the Chromebook's BIOS. Follow the first 3 steps from that video. Enable developer mode, modify the BIOS, and enable USB boot. To add more hard disk space to your Chromebook, we will be using either an SD card or USB 3 drive. This will become your home drive in Linux Mint. To create a Linux Mint bootable installation drive, you'll need at least a 2GB USB drive. I chose this PNY SD card because it has fast read and write speeds and comes at a reasonable price. You can buy these in up to 256GB capacities. The great thing about an SD card is that it's barely noticeable when plugged in as extra storage and leaves your USB 3 port free. You can alternatively use a USB 3 drive which has faster read and write speeds. This affordable 120GB compact drive is the one that I would recommend. This is my live Linux Mint USB that I'll plug in. You can watch how to create this in this video. By pressing Ctrl and L, I can access the modified BIOS to see my drives. Number 1 is my USB 3 drive. Number 2 is the Linux Mint bootable drive. Number 3 is the internal 16GB drive. And number 4 is the 32GB SD card. We'll be installing Linux Mint on number 3, and the home drive for extra storage will be on number 4. I'll choose number 2 to begin the install. The first thing to do is connect to the Wi-Fi. Click on the network icon here and choose your wireless connection. Once Wi-Fi is connected, use the Install Linux Mint icon to start the installation. The installation window will guide us through the process, and I'll choose the standard options to start off with. At the installation type window, I'll choose the something else option so that I can decide which disk to install on. My Chromebook has a eMMC drive and not an SSD, so it shows as MMC BLK0 in Linux. This is where I'm going to install Linux Mint, so I'll use the new partition table option to remove the Chrome OS partitions. The second card showing is my SD card, which is named MMC BLK1, and the third device is the USB drive with the Linux Mint named SDA. If I were using a USB 3 drive instead of an SD card, I'd see it as either SDA or SDB. You can tell which one is which by looking in the size column. Okay, let's set up the swap partition first, which is like virtual RAM in Linux. I'm going to set this to 4GB. For the remaining space, on the internal drive, I'll set the root partition. You can think of root as similar to the C drive in Windows. Now I'll set my SD card to the home partition. In Linux, this is where all your personal files are stored. Lastly, make sure your internal Chromebook hard drive is selected as the bootloader. This is what tells Linux which drive to boot from. The rest of the install is pretty simple. Just follow the on-screen prompts and restart after the install has finished. After logging in, the first thing I always do is make sure I get all the updates that are available. After restarting, the welcome screen provides some helpful links including driver installation. I'll activate the CPU firmware and also run my script to fix sound and keyboard shortcuts on my Chromebook. Next, let's take a look at the system details. In particular, you can see the hard drive shows as just under 42 GB. If we take a look at the home drive, we can see almost 30 GB available for use. If I want to install software, I can search for the software manager or use the convenient shortcut on the left. I want to install Chrome browser, but only Chromium is available. Instead, I can download the .deb file directly from Google and install quite easily. The install goes smoothly and everything works without any problems. Look, I think Batman looks pleased as well. There's lots of little easy ways to customize Linux Mint. Adding shortcuts where you want them to be is nice and simple. Changing the look and feel of your new install is simple too. I'm going to choose the Mint Y theme with dark window borders. This theme is based on the popular Arc theme, and I think the Mint version looks very slick and modern. The team behind this theme have really done an amazing job. Linux Mint also comes fully loaded with lots of default applications. Let's take a really quick look. You get the VLC media player and Banshee as the default media app. There is also GNOME Videos for multimedia, as well as LibreOffice for doing work or school stuff. There's GIMP included as an Adobe Photoshop alternative, and Thunderbird as the default mail client. If you're used to using Microsoft Outlook, Thunderbird is an equivalent app. There's lots of other apps to explore and use, so check them out. This video demonstrates that Linux Mint works extremely well on a Chromebook. Using a USB 3 drive or SD card to boost storage makes using a Chromebook for everyday use a great affordable option. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, this is Captain from FascinatingCaptain.com.